The night was still, with only the whisper of the desert wind carrying through the Israelite camp. Fires flickered in the darkness as families huddled together, their belongings packed and ready. The journey had been long and tiring, but their hearts were filled with hope, for they were free. It had been only days since Pharaoh had finally relented, breaking under the weight of the 10 terrible plagues that had ravaged Egypt. The death of the firstborn had been the final blow, and in his grief and fury, Pharaoh had ordered the Israelites to leave at once. Now, more than 600,000 men, along with women and children, moved toward the land God had promised their fathers. Leading them was Moses, the man God had chosen to deliver them from bondage. Beside him was Aaron, his faithful brother, and close by, Joshua, a young warrior who had already proven his loyalty. At the front of their journey, a miraculous sight guided them, a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. It was the presence of God Himself, leading His people. The Israelites walked with confidence, knowing that the same God who had humbled Pharaoh would protect them. But Pharaoh was not finished. Back in Egypt, Pharaoh sat in his grand palace, staring at the empty streets. The once bustling kingdom now felt hollow. The Hebrew slaves, who had built his cities, carried his burdens, and labored under his rule, were gone. The realization hit him like a wave. "What have we done?" he growled, his fist clenching. "We have let Israel go from serving us." His advisors, equally troubled, nodded in agreement. "Without them, our cities will crumble. Our fields will go untended." Pharaoh's sorrow turned to rage. He would not let them go so easily. "Prepare the chariots," he roared. The sound of clanging armor and neighing horses filled the air as Egypt's army assembled. Pharaoh took his finest chariots, and with him, 600 chosen chariots, along with countless others, thundered into the night. The desert ground trembled beneath their might as they rode in pursuit, their torches burning like the wrath in their hearts. Meanwhile, the Israelites had reached the shores of the Red Sea. The vast waters stretched before them, an impassable barrier. The people stopped, unsure of their next step. Then, a murmur spread through the crowd, fearful whispers at first, then rising into cries of panic. "They are coming," someone shouted. Far behind them, a dark cloud of dust rose into the sky. The ground quaked beneath the approach of Pharaoh's army. Terror gripped the people. Some fell to their knees, crying out in despair. Others turned to Moses with angry, accusing eyes. "Why did you bring us here to die?" they shouted. "Were there no graves in Egypt that we had to perish in the wilderness?" Moses stood firm, his eyes set on the horizon. He had seen the power of God before. He knew that this was not the end. "Fear not," he called out, raising his voice above the panicked crowd. "Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." A hush fell over the people, but their fear remained. How could they escape? The sea was before them, and Pharaoh's army was behind them. Then, God spoke to Moses. "Why do you cry out to me? Tell the children of Israel to go forward. Lift up your rod, stretch out your hand over the sea, and divide it. The children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea." With unwavering faith, Moses stepped forward, raising his staff high above his head. A sudden, powerful wind howled through the night. The waters trembled, then began to move. The Israelites gasped as the sea split apart before their eyes. Towering walls of water rose on either side, shimmering in the moonlight. The ocean floor lay bare, dry land where there had once been nothing but deep waters. The pillar of cloud, which had led them all this way, moved behind them, standing between them and the Egyptians like a blazing wall of fire. Pharaoh's army was thrown into confusion. The horses reared, the chariots halted, and the soldiers hesitated. "Go! Move quickly!" Moses commanded. One by one, the Israelites stepped onto the dry seabed, walking between the mighty walls of water. Their footsteps echoed in the eerie silence of the parted sea. The ground beneath them, once buried beneath the waves, was now firm beneath their feet. They walked and walked, the sea standing like a fortress around them. Mothers carried their children, elders leaned on their staffs, and the young ran forward, eager to reach the other side. It was a path made by God Himself. As the last Israelite stepped onto the other side, the fire that had held back Pharaoh's army vanished. Seeing the open path, Pharaoh roared in fury. After them, the Egyptian chariots charged into the sea, their wheels rattling on the seabed. The mighty walls of water loomed above them, but they paid no mind. Then, chaos erupted. Chariot wheels stuck in the mud. The horses panicked. Some soldiers were flung from their seats. The army that had once marched with confidence now faltered in confusion. Then, a new sound filled the air, the voice of God. I will be glorified upon Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen. Moses, standing at the edge of the shore, lifted his staff once more. The mighty walls of water collapsed. A deafening roar filled the night as the sea rushed back into place. The chariots, the soldiers, and even Pharaoh himself were swallowed by the waves. The Israelites watched in stunned silence. The mighty army of Egypt was gone. Not a single Egyptian remained. For a moment, there was only the sound of the wind and the lapping of the waves. Then, a cry of joy broke the silence. It grew and spread, until all of Israel shouted in triumph. Miriam, the sister of Moses, took a tambourine and began to sing. The women joined her, dancing and playing their instruments. Sing unto the Lord, for He hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and rider He hath thrown into the sea. The bondage of Egypt was behind them. The future lay ahead. And as they stood on the shores of freedom, they knew one thing for certain. The God of Israel was with them. This incredible story, as told in Exodus 14, shows God's power, faithfulness, and protection. It was not Moses who parted the sea, but God Himself. It was not Israel's strength that saved them, but the Lord who fought for them. From that day forward, Israel would always remember, the Lord is my strength and my song, and He is become my salvation. Exodus 15 verse 2. Wait, don't go yet. If you know you love God and you love this video, please like this video, share your thoughts in the comment section below and share this video to your friends and family. Don't watch alone guys, share it. Cause you know sharing is caring and caring is loving and of course loving is godly and most importantly please subscribe. Thanks for watching, see you in my next video, bye.